Board of County Commissioners features Democratic incumbent Joe Dellwo, in the pale blue shirt here, and challenger Chris Hindoien of Choteau, who was filed as a write-in candidate and as such is running without party affiliation. There is a third candidate in this race, Republican Corey Coverdell. Corey's name and Joe's name will appear on the ballot because they're the nominees from their party who went through the primary process. Chris, who filed after the primary process as a write-in candidate, will not be on the ballot. There will be a place for a write-in candidate, but his name will not appear. Corey has told us that he wanted to withdraw from the race, but he waited too long to notify the clerk and recorder, and so his name is still on the ballot. Joe is seeking his third 6-year term as a commissioner. He and his wife Dana live on a ranch west of Bynum in the Blackleaf and have 2 grown children. Joe's a graduate of Choteau High School and attended Montana State University Bozeman for 2 years before heading to work in the oil fields. He has worked as a cattle and sheep rancher most of his life. He is a member of St. Joseph's Catholic Church and served for 13 years on the Bynum School Board. He's the vice chairman of the North Central Area on Aging Board and the Rocky Mountain Front Weed Roundtable. And he's also a board member and secretary on the Center for Mental Health Governing Board. He's also a Teton County Development Corporation board member and serves as the current chairman of the Teton County Board of Commissioners. He also serves as the Commissioner's representative for negotiating collective bargaining agreements with unionized county employees and on several other boards. Chris, in the plaid shirt, who has been working as a sales producer with Hub International Insurance for the last several years, grew up in Great Falls. He graduated from C.M. Russell High School in 1984. Then he went to Miles Community College in Glendive, where he studied business with an insurance emphasis. He's been a member of the Montana Contractors Association Associates Division Board since 2005 and served as the board president for the 2009-10 term. He's also been a member of the Montana Extension Service Fire Training School Advisory Council since 2009 and is, I believe, the vice chairman of that council. He and his wife Tammy live here in Choteau. He is a past member of the Choteau JCs. He often volunteers with Choteau High School events. He's the chairman of the GOP's Teton County Central Committee. And he did run for the House District 17 in 1992, but Sam Rose beat him in the primary. Please tell our audience why you are running for office.
I have been in the commission for 12 years, but the job is ever changing. Every day new challenges come in the door. You never know what to expect. In that respect, it's a lot like ranching. On my to-do list, we're still dealing with the Bola Bridge and the road to Elizabeth Post Office. I've worked really hard this summer and this spring to get the Port Authority on the ballot, and I would like to be instrumental in setting that up in a way that works for the whole county. The Choteau Ambulance Barn is needing refurbishing, and I'm also working on a deal to streamline the tax abatement process. We've had some issues in the last year or two with tax abatements. And we need a South Fork Bridge on the Teton is going to need replacing in the not too distant future. Gibson Hydro, we've been working with that off and on for probably 6 or 7 years. And we also, one of the things we got done not too long ago was the new website, and we're trying to get social media so we can put our commission meetings on social media so people can watch them in real time. I guess that's about it.
Thank you. I guess I'm running tonight because I believe it's time for me to put up or shut up. I've been vocal about Teton County, and in my opinion, one of its best supporters when I've been out on the road. For the last 15 years, as Melody said, I was an insurance salesman for Hub International. I leave here on Tuesdays, come home on Thursday nights, and it's decided that if I'm going to live here, I'm going to live here, and I want to be more active in what takes place here. I like to say that I had a family legacy of being here, but I really don't. My mom was a graduate of Choteau High School in '58. My grandparents moved back here in '76, and we started hanging around here as kids. And through the years, this became home. Tammy and I built a home back here in 2011. We originally thought we'd keep it as a retirement home, but after we spent the first Christmas in it, we decided we weren't going to go anywhere. I've been blessed to have the type of opportunity in the job that I had, that I wasn't forced to live in a town where I work. I was a telecommuter. But that being said, it's time to stay home. It's time to help out, do what we can to make sure that our kids and our grandkids have the same opportunities we did here in Teton County. Thank you.
How will your life experiences affect your ability to be a county commissioner?
I believe that in my present job as an insurance salesman, it's similar to that of an elected official. Instead of having all of the people in Teton County as your constituency, I've been lucky enough to have about 400 clients who trust me with their livelihoods and managing their risk management, taking care of their businesses, looking out for their best interests where their dollars and cents were concerned. As such, I think a lot of that would play the same way here in the county. You're going to take the time to look at the different options that are out there, that are presented to you not only through your office, but by the people that come in and comment to you, and combined with the others that are in that office, make the best decisions moving forward. It is a group of 3 that are up there, and there could be times where people dissent, but dissent is not a bad thing. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you have to do what the people who elected you recommend for you to do, voice their opinions for you to do, and move forward with that. No different than what I do now, just on a little bit bigger scale.
I guess that's kind of a odd question for you. It's kind of an odd question for me. I've been doing the job for 12 years. My original agenda when I ran for county commissioner 12 years ago was to do the right thing for Teton County. And I take that to the office every day I go into the courthouse. And another experience I had was people find it difficult to come in and talk to the commissioners. So when they come into that office, I want them to be comfortable, and I want them to know that we care and that they'll be treated with respect, and I believe I've been doing that for the last 12 years.
Teton County has a budget of about $9 million, which includes funding from about 147 mills of property tax. Knowing that your budget is capped by the state statute, what are your priorities for spending this limited revenue?
Well, the 2 biggest budgets we have are the sheriff's office and the road. And currently the road has 3 people less than it did 12 years ago. We've become more efficient. We have better equipment. We put retrievers on the road graders. That's helped us save money. And the sheriff's office, we've been blessed with a really good sheriff. He's a very good businessman. And we have budget meetings, and he always is really careful with his money. The front page, it's always a struggle. There's about 12 different budgets on there, and you've got to prioritize and try to do an efficient job on every budget so the people get the most bang for the buck, because everything is expensive and it's getting more costly every year.
I would have to agree. Government's job, number 1 job, is public protection and infrastructure. And those are the items that are paramount to the success of this county. If our infrastructure is not up to par, we have a more difficult time in succeeding, whether it's transporting our goods to the elevators, moving our cows, moving our hay. And we have to make sure our people are safe. Law enforcement, along those same lines. Keith does a great job. We're very blessed to have an engaged sheriff, and basically across the board, very engaged company or county employees. It's difficult for a gentleman such as myself to come up here and tell you what I can and cannot do, because as I said, you're one of 3. The best thing you can do is bring opportunities and ideas to the table. Try to, at times, if necessary, think outside the box. If there's a better way of doing something, let's look at it. Doesn't mean it has to go that way, but let's take a peek at it. Let's ask the folks to take a peek at it and see if we can't find a different way of making a mousetrap to help us all out.
Do you support or oppose the use of tax abatements to encourage business expansion and development in the county? And please explain your position.
This one I went and sat down with some folks with, not only in Teton County, but I went to the bigger counties. I went to Lewis and Clark County, sat down with a gentleman who used to be the city attorney in Helen and talked about it. I have to say that I'm in favor of them. I believe if it's done in the right process, that you're going to build something and expand. If you come to us and say, this is my plan, give us the opportunity to walk through it and ask our questions. What are you doing to be a good neighbor about this? What are your long-term goals? I truly believe that with the use of a tax abatement, I'm a firm believer I'd rather have 50% of something than 100% of nothing. And if someone is going to trigger their whole plan of building or coming to Teton County based on whether or not he or she or they can get a tax abatement, I would favor them, as long as they've met some criteria of being a good neighbor, doing what's best for the county, the community, and those surrounding, I would favor them having that tax credit, knowing that sooner or later it will wear off and all the revenue will generate back into us.
Over the years, I've probably voted for over a dozen tax abatements. I voted against a couple. And the only ones I voted against were ones that admittedly weren't going to add jobs to the area. And the other one I voted, that was the Miller Hutterite Colony Fish Farm. And the other one that I voted against was the fertilizer plant in Collins. They weren't going to add any jobs. They were buying most of their materials outside the county, and they were going to compete with the existing fertilizer retailers in the county. So I did vote against that. But I think if done correctly, Chris is right. Half of something is better than nothing. So I think if done correctly, that they can be a very good tool to grow the economy. And in the last 12 years, the taxable value of this county has gone from, the mill value has gone from $13,800 to $19,900. So I think that these tax abatements that I have voted for have been effective, and they have brought things to the county.
We had our first snowfall of the winter. Wasn't a lot this morning, but there's a crust of it out there. And that brings to mind the necessity for county roads to be cleared of snow, especially for emergency responders and on school bus routes. The road department crew currently works 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. They do 10-hour days. If the snow falls on Friday, and to any great extent, the county has to call out the crew and pay them overtime to get those essential roads cleared. Is this the best way to run the road department scheduling, or are there other options, like maybe a 5-day work week during the winter?
There are other options with the county, or with the union negotiations that I've done. The county has the right to call the road department into a 5-day work week with 2 weeks notice. Unless it's an emergency weather situation, then we can do it immediately. The other thing that we've done, we bought an Oshkosh road grader, or snowplow, 2 years ago, and we bought another one this summer, and they can plow snow as well as the motor graders, but they can do it at 30 miles an hour instead of 12. So that's going to be a huge advantage if we get another winter. So those are some things that we've done.
Joe answered the question about as best you can. In a collectively bargained agreement, there's not a whole lot one can do. You can't break the collective bargain agreement. It's something you'd have to sit down as you're negotiating, and that they're doing right now, and ask for a little compassion from the road guys and see about splitting up from 1 November till 1 July when it quits snowing. Till the first part of May. If you have to run a split Monday through Thursday for some, Tuesday through Friday for some, Wednesday through Saturday for some, they all get Sunday off. But unless you can collectively bargain it, it's all pie in the sky. And you'd have to have the people in the road department buy off and understand that it truly is for the betterment of the county and the safety of the county.
Okay, the county commissioners currently are 4/5 time, so they're not full-time. They typically try to be in the office Monday through Thursday, depending on meetings, because they go to meetings outside of during the day and during the evening as well. Their budget is $193,000, and the lion's share of that is payroll and health insurance benefits. Is this expenditure appropriate for a county our size? Should we be spending more or less?
I don't know. To be honest with you, without having walked a mile in Joe or Ron or Jim's moccasins, it's difficult for me to say what is right and what is wrong. I have a sneaking suspicion that while it's written down as 4/5, it's probably 9/5 plenty of the time. By the time you figure in your time at the courthouse, your time on various boards, your time going to get a hamburger and running across a grumpy constituent who takes your best hamburger and turns it into your worst meal because they won't let you alone. But it's part of the job that we put our names on the ballot for. So I wish I had a better answer for you, Melody, but I really don't know, having not been there.
This is mainly for Chris. You came late to the party as a write-in candidate. Why is that?
Better late than never? No. For the last 17 plus years, I've worked for various insurance companies. I worked for Hub International for the last 15 years. Knowing back in January that our lives were going to change, and as of last Friday, I no longer work for Hub International. Tammy and I purchased our own insurance agency from a gentleman in Libby. We're in the process of moving it here into Choteau, and we've opened our doors and started doing that. Had I known, I would have filed back then. But at the time, I wasn't ready to give up the security of my other job and for this. But it's time now to come home, stay home, and be a good citizen of Teton County.
I was just reading the Teton County growth policies, and obviously they are shrinking, everybody knows that. Do you have ideas of how to increase our county
Population-wise?
population? First helping our schools and everything.
No, but you're right. A healthy school leads to a healthy community. And it's easier to have kids in school bringing in dollars than it is to go try and raise levies. Here in Choteau, you know, my wife works at the school, so I get to see some of the things that take off. Spent an hour with the superintendent of schools down in Fairfield. There's one lot inside the city limits of Fairfield that you can build a house on right now. That's the only residential construction left in that community. They really don't have anywhere else inside the city limits to go, and the subdivisions that they're working on outside of town right now are having hydrology issues. If I'm not mistaken, an average A and B for a student in our school is $5,500 for a K-12 student, about $6,500 for the high school. So 10 high school kids bring $65,000 in tax dollars to the county, to the school. It's a lot easier to get $65,000 in students than it is to go try and run a levy for 65. To get students, we need jobs. We've got to find a way to grow some economics here, whether it's additional agriculture, whether it's high tech, whatever it may be. We need to find, whether it's Choteau, Fairfield, Dutton, Power, it's got to be done. And Choteau's handcuffed, you guys, face it, we're at the end of the road. You go to the east side of the county, you've got a rail spur that goes north-south, and you got an interstate. Fairfield's 30 minutes from Great Falls. They have people moving to Fairfield, driving back and forth to Great Falls to work. So Choteau, we're going to face some other issues that those parts of the county don't. So you guys will address it later in the Port Authority, but it's something that's got to be done if we're going to continue as a viable county.
The issue with Teton County, well, one issue is it's an ag economy. And over the years, and I know it well, the jobs are shrinking in the agriculture sector because farms are getting bigger, ranches are getting bigger. There's fewer families out there, fewer kids. That's one of the reasons why I've really been trying to get this Port Authority passed. Because if you have ag jobs, like on value-added ag, you're going to have turnover in those jobs probably every 20 years. Whereas in family farms, you have turnover every 40 years or longer. So I think that's the Port Authority is the answer to get more value-added ag and more people into town or into the county, because I would a lot rather vote for a Port Authority levy at 4 mills than to continue to vote for bigger levies in our schools because they don't have as many kids every year. And I think that's our choice. I think we either vote for the Port Authority and get more jobs into Teton County, or else we're going to have bigger levies at the schools over time. It's just the reality.
What is Port Authority?
They're going to have a panel right after we're done, and they'll explain it. But basically, it's a fully funded economic development person in the county that would be able to, when people come up with an idea, they'll be able to help them through the process and get new businesses in the county, and also in the other counties that I've visited. They also help existing businesses with business plans, and just having somebody there to usher people through the process, I think, is really important.
Our commissioners don't have individual offices because of the way our courthouse is constructed. They're all in one office. And so technically speaking, whenever 2 or more of them, a quorum, are in the office together, It's a meeting. What would you do as a commissioner to make this office more transparent to the public and to avoid the appearance that business could be being transacted outside of your 2 monthly meetings, which I might add, they faithfully notice in the paper, it's online. There's no excuse. I mean, those 2 meetings, they're doing a great job of noticing. But what could we do to make it even more transparent?
As far as the public open meeting laws?
Right. Well, as far as the public knowing, yeah.
One comment, I would say 85% of the rural counties in the state of Montana have one office for their commissioners. The thing that we do as a commission, when people come in, or if we get a question on the phone, immediately we have to assess whether it rises to the extent of the public's need to know. And if it does, we have a board, and we'll literally stop people in their conversation. It happened yesterday. We told them, you know what, this is a significant public interest to the public. We're going to put it on that board. And when we put it on that board, I know, Mel, you have a hard time believing me, but we've had this discussion. When it goes on that board, we do not discuss it in between ourselves until we're at the public meeting. And that's the way we deal with it.
I can tell you from a risk management standpoint, in the last 15 years in our current book of business, the largest claims I've ever seen in the insurance industry have been open meeting violations by public boards. Fire departments, sewer districts, things along those boards where 3 out of the 5 members are together, or 2 of the 3 get together, and they talk about something, and then they start emailing about something, and it starts snowballing, and through discovery, an email arises showing a conversation that somebody said never took place. It's a difficult thing to address in a small community like this because of space, because of issues. Do you post every day as an open meeting so that you've met those requirements? I don't know. But I would tell you from a risk management standpoint, I don't like it. I think it's the quickest way to get sued. And I've seen 7-figure losses on county levels because of it, through fire district reports from people holding what they didn't think was an open meeting because what the topic was being discussed wasn't important enough, but to one person it was. So that's something that the county, whether I'm a commissioner or not, they're going to have to continue to deal with. It's something that the county attorney's going to have to look at, and powers that be above us, because if something were to happen, those are the people who are going to have to defend the actions of what took place.
Why should people vote for you?
I would hope that people would vote for me for the fact that I'm a change. It's 12 years for Joe. Maybe it's time for a change. I would like them to also vote for me because I bring passion to it. I'll tell you this rather than my closing sentence. I don't live here because I have to. I live here because I want to. This is where I want to be. The community, the county, all of you are considered family. And the bottom line, whether it's a Democrat, a Republican, or an independent thing, what it boils down to for Teton County is whatever's best for the family, because family always comes first. And it may not be popular at times to certain people in the county to put aside their staunch beliefs, thinking that what they think is right or what you think is wrong. But the bottom line is it's what's best for all of you people sitting out there, whether it benefits me or not. It's family first, and you guys are all part of the Teton County family.
I guess I'm in the position where I have to run on my record. I've been here 12 years, and I'm pretty proud of what I've done. The county's almost debt-free. We owe about $50,000 on the Fairfield ambulance barn. That's our only long-term debt. We have some road graders that we have on a lease program, but that's not long-term debt. Mill values increased by over 1/3 in the last 12 years, so we're doing something right. We built the road shop in the annex, both buildings, without going to the public for a voted levy, because we budgeted enough to where we could do that without putting the pressure on the taxpayers. And I really do have a lot of things left to do, and I still care about this job. I lived in Teton County almost all my life. I left for a while to work in the oil fields, and that was a good experience, but sure was glad to get home. So I guess I'm running on my record, and I'm offering my experience to the voting public, and I sure would appreciate your vote.
Okay, now I hope you both didn't just give your closing comments, because now you get to give closing comments. You have 3 minutes each, are you sure?
Sing a song.
That would be lethal.
Yeah.
No, my closing comments were just about the same as the last question. But, I mean, that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm doing, and that's why I want to keep working at this job. I still enjoy it a lot. I enjoy helping people. You never know what's going to come through the door of that courthouse, and it's always interesting. And by and large, the people are always good to work with. We do have some challenges when people come in. They can come in really irritated, but it's really gratifying when they come in mad and they leave, and you've got a solution to their problems. So I still enjoy this job, and I'd like to do it another 6 years. Thank you.
First of all, there's no vindictiveness in me. This is politics, pure and simple at its earliest and best form. You are the ultimate people. They always say, government needs to run more like a business. Well, it can't, because the way it was construed, if it ran like a business, then it would take away you guys' voice and my voice and everyone's voter's voice and having a say in how their county is run. Win, lose, or draw, Choteau and Teton County will be my home. I'm not running away, I'm not going anywhere. But I honestly think it's time that I could bring something to this table. You know, as Joe said, the office brings you something new every day. In my old job, I used to get up every morning and look at the map and say, where am I going today? Well, it'd be nice to get up in the morning and say, I'm going from 7th Street Northwest to the courthouse, rather than from Choteau to Thompson Falls to Plains to Superior to St. Regis and back home in a day. I would ask you guys for your vote, and all you have to do is spell it one of the 22 different ways I had to register it, so it would count. And I apologize to the election judges already for those who are going to have to hand count them all. But I want to leave you guys with 3 things: a fact, a request, and a promise. The fact is, we are an agricultural-based county, we're getting older, and we need to do something to help change that. My request is simple. Take one of my cards, write my name down when it comes time to vote for county commissioner. And as Melody says, you spell it O-I-E-N, over in Europe with an N. And then my promise to you would be, you'd have my undivided attention, 24/7, 365, to help make this a community and a legacy for us all to leave behind for our kids and our grandkids. The Rocky Mountain Front is a treasure. Choteau is a treasure. Teton County is a treasure. Let's keep it that way, keep it viable, and keep it on the map.